Soul Garden. Live, love, be.
Good morning from my smartphone to yours. Bella and I are casting love from the Soul Garden Studios in the fabulous Costa Mesa, California. And this is your cloudy Thursday. Namaste today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. My modality is psychic astrology, and my mission is to stand in my heart and help other people stand into theirs. Welcome! We're now on Thursday, December 17th, 2015, and as of today, the human walk has progressed to step 25, Sagittarius. Now, today is going to be a very spiritual day, a very mystical day, I do believe, because Step 25 is the highest degree we get with spiritual. It adds to a 7, so it's the highest 7. So the Step 25 of any sign is a high 7, and if you're a Step 25 in any sign, you're a God service provider for that sign. So you kind of look over that sign as a God service provider. So anyone born today is a God service provider of Sagittarius. They watch over the Sagittarius race, etc., and they are a master Sag, or a master of whatever sign we're talking about. But what's interesting about this particular transit is, as we are at step 25 in Sagittarius, we now begin to conjunct the galactic center. And I'll be talking about the galactic center in tomorrow's show and giving you a think quest for the weekend as the sun crosses over the galactic center. But it's important to know that today's step 25 is the highest step 25 of the entire year, because it is in touch with the galactic center, which is where our source is, where we came from here in this present universe. So let's start with today's vibe, shall we, to help you through the day. Grab your coffee and take some notes if you need to. Cloudy and quite mystical, I do believe. That step 25 means it's time to be mindful of your feelings. It's time to listen and pay attention and add up those little signs, particularly today. The signs you receive in the next 36 hours, in my opinion, there's never a coincidence. We're going to talk about that today in today's topic, why there's never a coincidence. But today, through tomorrow, through the weekend, I highly advise you to read the signs in your own movie and to not deny them at this particular time, because we are at a very powerful moment where people who don't read the signs, well, that's part of their story, that they didn't read the signs. All right. So today I think it's going to be cloudy, mystical, somewhat introverted. The moon is in Pisces, so we are feeling kind of mystical and spiritual. The moon will cross over Chiron today. That means that we'll all go through an emotional healing and a release. This will probably be a multi-lifetime healing, one that is long overdue. The soul's very grateful for that has arrived. So expect that and allow that to happen. The mind, I think, is on step 11 Capricorn. Now, what's interesting about that is step 11, of course, is the number of integrity. So our mind is focused on integrity, but in Capricorn. So our mind is focused on integrity as far as decision making. Our mind is focused on integrity as far as our power. And so we're trying to look at integrity of power. If you find yourself obsessed with someone else out of integrity, that's probably your subconscious telling you you're out of integrity somewhere. So whenever we obsess on someone else's problems, we secretly have that problem somewhere, and that's why we're obsessing, because we see it, we don't know it in ourselves, just so you know. So that can be happening. But our minds, Mercury is beginning to conjunct basically Pluto, which means that we'll be letting something die in our mind for good in the next 6 days. Even though we let it go for good on New Year's, the actual, when the sun is in Capricorn. So I think today's a cloudy, mystical day. I think our mind is obsessed with integrity. I think you're thinking about that. And we're letting go of old stuff. But what we're opening up to really is a whole new set of boundaries, a whole new world. Like, Dorothy isn't in Kansas anymore. If you walk down this path and go down this path, it's not like you've ever experienced, which to me is awesome. That's what life's about, is an adventure. Keep it coming. I hate repetition. I hate things going over and over. And then our egos, I act, I am, are on step 20 Libra. So we're ready to get passionate about our relationships. We're ready to get passionate about what we're creating. We're ready to get passionate about our relationship to ourselves, because maybe we're finally awake and we're probably finally getting it, we think. Like, knock on wood, you know what I mean? But whatever the case is, we're ready to open up to what this new relationship is. And so today it's cloudy, it's mystical, you're listening, you're letting go. It's a very spiritual day. If I were king, I would say today is Sunday. Everyone needs today off, because everyone really needs to be introverted and listening to their guides and listening to what's going on today. So make sure and try and listen today. So I have a little treat for you. Well, I always have a treat for you. I mean, I get a kick out of thinking about what I'm going to do in the show. It's just something that keeps me going every day, makes me feel good. And I sure hope you have something that keeps you going every day and makes you feel good. And, of course, my show is designed to start off your day. But I'm curious what you do after that. What do you do? What do people do? And what are you manifesting? And what light are you bringing? I'm just curious what my fellow light walkers are doing on the planet and what they're bringing. So that would be the topic to write down. I'm curious about in the blogging or in the sections or whatnot. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know your projects so I can include you in my prayers. So let's move on to today's topic. For today's topic, I'm going to share both the story and also do the 5 o'clock questions, because I really want to help you step into your higher self, and I really want to help you recognize the voices inside you. And I'm going to be very transparent here with Sensei's lesson plan. But my lesson plan here is at the end of Sagittarius to share some of my most powerful stories so that you at least stay open to experiencing yours. And I really want everyone to experience theirs, because I truly believe that humans aren't getting it. We have an entire spiritual force of energy that is here to help us along our journey. Because we're so young as humans, we are ignoring those voices. We're ignoring that guidance, and that guidance is minute to minute, as if there was NASA on the radio helping you. It's cool stuff. So today's topic is something to help you in your everyday life. It is keeping a signal. That is, being in communion with Holy Spirit. Now, when I was reading Conversations with God, which I'm about to reread just because it was one of the best reads I've had this year, I just learned so much from that and changed so much this year, reflecting as the new year comes on. But, God speaks frankly in the book and says, she hopes that we stay in communion with her, because it's not that there is a need to control us. It's that when we stay in communion with her, she feels us. So we're really, when we don't connect to God, there's a numbness there, I think, on God's part too. It's like a limb going numb, like, what the forgive? What? Don't you realize who your God is? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure a creator has to be patient. So being in communion with Spirit is great for all sides involved. There's, the only thing that sucks is usually your ego ends up having to let go of stuff that it wanted to hold on to, and that's what people don't want to do, is they want to let their ego win, but Spirit allows everybody to win. That's what's so cool about it. So I've been working on staying in communion with Spirit for a long time, and Creator says in this book, she hopes that we would stay in communion all the time. Like, that's her hope, So I try to, and I want to point some things out to you. Now, for one, I think a lot of people misunderstand how our reality works, and I believe I understand it, and you either resonate with what I'm going to tell you or not. But the present, as you know it, the present that we're living right now, it is the present, okay? Or present if it's backwards here in the camera, okay? It is the present. What you are experiencing was already present. Now, in my spiritual research, we sent it 40 nights ago. So this is my own research with astrology and transits, and part of my book is how I'm just looking at how I've noticed how reality does unfold and manifest. And tonight, if you remember your dreams, you'll likely dream 40 days in the future. And you're making decisions tonight about what you want 40 days in the future. And when you get 40 days in the future, you will be in the present, which is the present. You ordered this 40 days ago. I don't know why it's 40. It has to do something with the matrix and how it manifests. I'm just telling you what I've observed, counting the days. Now, here's the point. The point is that when you arrive to your daily life, right, and you're a psychic like myself, or you're an intuitive, And people say, ooh, you have these powers to see into the future. Not really. What it is that I think there's a power to be able to somehow remember what we talked about when we were up there last night directing this whole thing. I can just remember, Judy, I can just remember, or Peter, I can just remember that you said this up there. So I think the present will be this. Also in the present, I think for us to be in communion with Holy Spirit, to be connected to Holy Spirit in the moment, is for us to be connected to the plan we made 40 nights ago. Just 40 nights ago, the plan we made. So it's important to stay in the moment because you're staying in tune and you're keeping a signal with Source, the Source that you created. And it might just be that it takes 40 days for it to manifest from heaven down. I don't know, but I know 40 is the number. I know 6 weeks is the number. I know it takes 40 days to change your life. All these interesting little things. So this brings me to the 5 o'clock questions, and people always ask, why 5 o'clock? Because you have till 5 o'clock to answer this question in your head. And by the way, for those people who don't know, consciousness is all right here in your head. So if you answer my questions, if you say them out loud, if you do the work, you will grow day after day. You will grow with me. You will grow naturally because your consciousness is just brick by brick, opening, and you stand back after 40 days. And my goodness, we've grown. So answer these questions for yourself. Do yourself a favor. If you're not reading self-help books right now, well, go ahead and do this. All right? So here's the question. Can you think of a time where your psychic awareness just took over your life? Can you think of a time where your psychic awareness just took over your life? Follow-up question. Did you act on this information or did you sit on it and observe? That's my question. Okay, so I'm going to answer this, and I'm going to answer it actually with sharing kind of an intimate story that I don't think I've ever shared on the air, so I'm going to share it because I think it's fun, and I'm also enjoying sharing these stories because I want them on the YouTube record, just so I don't forget them, or people bring them up to me when I'm 96 in an interview, like, oh, that's right, like I'll be like, that's right, like that way the public will remind me of my stories, So, long story short, I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I also want to talk about being communion with Spirit. So I have been spending a long time trying to stay connected to my guides all the time, stay connected and work with my guides. And that's how it began anyways, was under that intention. And I've always been incredibly psychic. I just didn't pay attention, just did not pay attention. And so I had to train myself to pay attention. Well, I remember when I was beginning to really awaken. It's when I was doing horoscopes every day, which was really like spiritual push-ups, when you do 12 horoscopes a day, so I was really in spiritual shape at that time, and my awareness was just popping open. And I could feel in January, I could feel something very important happening in January, something important in Vegas. Well, in Vegas in January, there's this NAB convention for television. And I am, in TV. I've always worked in TV, so I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be there for this, and I feel like I'm supposed to be there. So, I went forward and I listened to my guides and I did my research on where people hung out. I asked my Jewish friends where the Jewish people hang out. I asked my gay friends where the gay people hang out. It's like Fruit Loop and this, they tell me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go network with all the, TV executives in Vegas. That's why I'm being sent there. And I get there, I'm having some good times or whatever, just as far as, conventioning and seeing cool TV and just seeing other creative people. And I'm in touch with my guides because I'm like, why are you guys why did you guys pull me out here? Where is it? I'm waiting for Steven Spielberg to pop around the corner or something, And one night I'm going home after having, dinner with friends and stuff that are out there. And I'm walking through the casino floor and all of a sudden my guides are like, Christopher. And I was like, whoa, what's up? It was a real, a looming, hello. It was literally is this on? Can you hear us? It was literally I was like, what the forget? It was very, very overwhelming feeling. I got goosebumps, my ears are ringing, I was like, wow, something is really happening here, and it's in a casino floor. That's the paradox. I'm like, a casino? Seriously? You know what I mean? No way. This is not the place. So my guides are very clear. They're like, we need you to go somewhere. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, where should I go? And they're like, we need you to go to the Fruit Loop. And I'm like, the Fruit Loop, the gay thing, the gay part, because I was like, well, that kind of sucks, because I kind of want to go out tonight to the cool chick stuff. There's a lot of hot chick stuff in Vegas, you know what I mean? Like, I was very excited, and in fact, I was kind of planning on, I was like, and this is part of, like, if you guys want to know Sensei to Serious Joy, okay, I'm a human, I'm like, I don't want to do anything in the Fruit Loop. I want to go to the clubs with the chicks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like totally like melting down like Luke Skywalker in the first film, and this is of course in the casino, right? As I'm like, no, having conversation with myself. I'm sure casino, security was like, like Roger one, we've got so like I was like, all right, fine, I'll listen to my guides, I'll go, and I go upstairs and I'm like going to a stupid gay club and whatever, like what should I wear, like it was very like, so I come down or whatever and I'm like, I'm like, are you sure, like seriously, like are you like seriously, is this a test, like because I was coming on to my psychic awareness and I was like, could they really be testing me on this level? Like, is this for sure? Like, I could really all be having fun right now, you know what I mean? So, it's like, no, and like, actually the word was like, trust, just trust. And I was like, okay, I'll trust. So, I get in this cab, and I ask the cab driver, I'm like, I need to go to the Fruit Loop. He's like, what? I'm like, I need to go to the Fruit Loop district. He's like, what? You need to go where? I'm like, I think it's called the Fruit Loop. He like gets out of the cab. He's like, yo, anybody know the Fruit Loop? I'm like, oh my god! You know what I mean? Like, holy shit! Oh, this is such a test. You know what I mean? It was so like, all right, just cool. So we finally get to this place. It's total like out of a movie gay dive bar. Like, walk in. It's empty. It's like there's one go-go dancer who's like looks at me walking in, and like the bartender cleaning. I'm like, oh my goddess, why am I here? At that point, I'm like, I'm gonna drink. And, like I used to drink back then. I'm like, I need a drink. I just gotta go. And so, long story short, I ended up, my guides are like, we need you to read a few people. And I was like, seriously? All right, I'll do readings, So I went around, and basically the way that works is people just pop up, and then the thing is like, if I drink a little bit, I have to say, like, suddenly, like, the psychic energy gets really weird. It's just like, she's leaving her husband, he's not here, he's actually gay, like just all this stuff, just like, boom, and like, I have to resist, like, I don't want to look, and that's just who I am. And when I was really young and obnoxious and drunk, I'd be like, you're in denial, and your mother is wanting to talk to you right now, like, I was just like, until someone's like, that's very wrong, you can't do that. I was like, oh, I was very young though, at the time, and also used to substance at the time. So, long story short, I'm getting tired. It's like, I've read like 4 couples, I've repaired people, I've brought them back together, I've channeled the dead, I even read the guy in the bathroom. Like, I read everyone. I'm like, what the forgive do you guys want me to do now? And basically, they're like, just trust, one more reading. And I was like, okay. And I look up and I see the reading. And I go and I read these 2 guys, and actually they're having a good moment. So it was good. It always feels good to help people come together, especially when I'm kind of on soul assignment like that. And every now and then, Spirit takes over like that and has sent me on assignment. And then when I finally finish that, I look up, and there is this just beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. And she was just like, it was totally like, Wayne's World, like, Dreamweaver. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, whoa! I walked over, and like, it was totally like a movie the way we met. And this is how I met a girlfriend of 2.5 years. And of course, I asked her, I'm like, baby, what's your sign? You know what I mean? Like, and I am that guy. I am that guy. I have to know in the first 30 seconds. And people like, can't you guess? Well, yes, but I need to know. Like, I don't want to play that game. She's like, Taurus, and I'm like, oh, that's me. That's so cool. Like, I'm a Taurus too. When's your birthday? And she's like, May 9th. And I was like, oh my God, that's my birthday. My birthday, May 9th. So her and I were together, long story short, like we met that night, we came together, totally got inspired, never separated for about 2.5 years. And it was a total relationship to myself. The point here is, Spirit will lead you if you listen. And it's my experience that directly. I have a conversation with them. I have fights. I complain. I bitch. They can bitch back. And this is the new age. This is human beings, I think in our enlightenment and feeling enlightened. So listen, you never know what's going to happen. It's always brought me the best of things. And honestly, that's just one story in my Sensei hat to share. So I say, has your psychic side ever taken over? That's the first question. Second, did you act on it? I always have, and amazing things have happened. Let's now move on to the Zen Den and send you on your day. Hello, my friends, and welcome to our Zen Den. One of the reasons I'm separating these segments is so that my energy can be different. It's not easy to go from right brain to left brain to right brain. I'm just saying that as a person who makes a living doing it. I have to stop, the logical side and go into the spiritual side, and I have to tell it to do that, and I have to wait for it to do that, just like I'd be waiting for a muscle to relax or something. So it's helpful for me to separate these segments. I just want to send a prayer of protection to everyone to release all their fear today so that you can see clearly. And all I'm asking yourself is to release fear one day. You can totally be afraid tomorrow. Okay? And tell your fear that. You're like, fear, you can come back tomorrow. So I send a blessing of fearlessness so people can see their missions today, because I think you'll be seeing your mission in the next 36 hours and what your mission is. And we'll talk to you about mission tomorrow. So let's take a look at the chart and see what my guides have to say. Okay, here's my Thursday happy guy. Okay, so I go in and they say Mars and Neptune are the two things, and I can see why. First, let's start with the Sun. The Sun is at step 25. Step 25 adds to a high 7. This is the highest 7 of the month. The galactic center is actually at step 27. Okay, Sagittarius. So we are a 2-step differential, is what I call the step differential. Step differential is 2, so that means we can feel it coming. It tells you what's active. The mind is ahead, though, up in Capricorn, a full another sign, at step 11. Step 11 is integrity. Integrity actually adds to a 2, even though we keep it in the 11 block. But really, you feel integrity. You don't know it. It adds to it, too. So today, we are really trying to feel integrity. And today, we're also trying to be mindful of our feelings. That's how I read the 25. The mind, be mindful of the feelings. You always read it backwards that way. But you count it forward. You add it forward, but you read it backwards. So be mindful of your feelings. You could go all the way through your whole social security number and get a sentence on who you are. It's kind of interesting. So today we are opening up. We're opening up to what feels like integrity. We're opening up to what feels like our spiritual peace. And we're really opening up because we're conjuncting the galactic center. We're opening up to our soul calling, our mission, our life purpose. And I think because Saturn is here in the early stages of Sagittarius. Now, Saturn is really a buzzsaw. What it does is cut and tell Pluto to come over and kill this later. So, basically, everything below step 9 has been cut. Saturn cut, leaving room for the future. Now that might be your childhood of abuse cut, all the beliefs of your childhood abuse cut. That could be all the beliefs that you'd fail cut, all the these are the self-limiting beliefs that are being cut. The 9 is that we're acting on. The 8 was the cut when Saturn was at step 8, Grand Master step 8. So we're cutting and running, we're cutting and floating, we're cutting and ascending. Or people can't cut and they are anchored down, sinking to the bottom of their belief structure until they realize that there's a lot of hope, but you got to cut. Now, cut is super important. That's what my guides are really calling into is Neptune today and Mars. So Neptune is a forgiveness, and we actually had a Neptune crossing yesterday. So on Wednesday, we actually really started to connect to our guides, started to release, started to move into the spirituality yesterday. And we're climbing up the degrees of Pisces until we cross Chiron here at step 17. 17 is, again, adds to an 8. 8 is a cut. And so Chiron is saying, hey, we're going to cut this karma. We're going to cut away this past. We're going to cut this. And as the moon crosses this, we emotionally release. It's like dumping water out of a boat that was making you sink. You're just like, and so you rise, and so you rise. You're just like, okay, I'm not going to deal with his shift anymore, or hers, or whatever. So it's a Mars-Pisces conflict because Mars here at step 20 in Libra is now, this is where we're pushing. So Mars is like pushing for the new mirage, which, turns into, my cup, which turns at my empty cup. No, it's only half full. My mirage, everyone's mirage is going forward, but this means partnerships, this is a new relationship to ourselves. So it's a complicated kind of dance step because we're meant to push for the new relationship to ourselves, but we're not meant to put any energy or ego into this past or this past. So you gotta, it's like a dance step if you want to ascend. You have to let off all the stuff that's icky, but also push up, but not create any kind of conflict inside you. And you might ask, well, how does one do that, Sensei? Well, you have to stay in communion with Spirit. You have to listen, and Spirit will be like, don't push her for that. But Spirit will be like, but do go for this, but don't do that, but do this, and that. And basically, you get led out by listening moment by moment and trusting moment by moment, which might be decision by decision or instant by instant. So, all right, that concludes our daily Zen Den, and I will just close the show from here. I hope you have a fabulous day, my friends. I'm so grateful to be of soul service for you. We have the Personal Sensei service launching in 24 hours. I am so excited. And I want to tell you a couple things that do come with the service so you're clear. You can actually start the service for 99 cents. You get 7 days for 99 cents. You can cancel anytime by logging into the interface and just hitting cancel. In the first 7 days, I programmed in 7 secrets to your soul. So each day you'll learn a secret. And you might want to write these secrets down because these are kind of little things I always bring out in readings, some of the best of the best of the best of my little tricks. And it's there to let anyone who just starts for the 7 days, if you decide to not go on, I want you to know these secrets about yourself. They're secrets to your soul's satisfaction, I'll tell you that. And you will also receive a free Secrets of Birthdays Love and Lust report that will be ready, like auto manifest, at the end of your sign up. And I have to say, anyone that signs up over this weekend, that will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, will be entered to win one of 2 gift certificates for a free 1-hour reading with me. So it's kickoff. It's serious joy time. And I'm so excited. I cannot believe that I actually went live finally with the public when the sun crossed the galactic center. I am so honored. But I know that tells me that there's something special about what we're all doing together. Well, I hope you have a fabulous day. I want you to know that I love you, and I'll see you in 24 hours with more. Until then, stay in your heart, stay in the light, and live, love, be.